Self-practice 5.3, question number 1. Find the sum of the following arithmetic progressions. So you can always refer to the formula here, the Sn, to find the sums. And these Tn's will enable you to find the number of terms. So questions A, this arithmetic progression start with negative 20. So this negative 20 is the first term, which is the A. And the difference between two consecutive terms here is you are adding 5 to the previous terms. Therefore, this 5 here is the common difference, which is the D. And this 100 is the last terms of these arithmetic progressions. So now, refer to these two formula. You have the A and D for the first one here, but you are lacking the informations of N. And if you're using the other formula, you have the first term and the last terms. You're also lacking the informations of N. So here we want to find the N first, which is for these arithmetic progressions from negative 20 to 100, there are how many terms? So this 100 is the last terms. So I want to know this 100 is the which term. So I'm going to label it as this one as the nth terms. Alright. Now to find the number of terms, I can refer to this formula Tn. So Tn will give you the answer of 100. So using that formula, the A is negative 20 plus n minus 1. The D is 5. This one equal to 100. So first I got to move this negative 20 to the right hand side. So n minus 1 times 5 equal to 120. So next I got to move this 5 to the right hand side. So n minus 1 will be 120 divided by 5, which is going to give you the answer of 24. Therefore, n is equal to 24 plus 1, 25. So this 100 is the 25th terms. So now you can use either one of this formula to solve this. So for this questions number 1a, I'm going to use this formula. So S25 equal to 25 over 2. So the A is negative 20, whereas the last term is 100. So solve this using a calculator, you'll find that the answer is 1000. So if you're using the other formula, you're also going to get the same answer. Questions B. So for these arithmetic progressions, this 3 over 5 is the first term, which is the A. And the difference between the two consecutive terms is, if you use 6 over 5 minus 3 over 5, you'll find that you're adding 3 over 5 to the previous terms. Therefore, this 3 over 5 is your common difference, which is the D. So we want to find the sum until the first 23 terms. So this one is the N. So you have the informations of N, A, and D. So I'm going to use this formula to find the sum of the first 23 terms. So S23 equal to 23 over 2. So put a bracket here. 2a, which is 2 times 3 over 5, plus 23 minus 1 times 3 over 5. So first I'm going to solve the value inside the bracket here. You will get 72 over 5. So multiply this with 23 over 2, then you're going to find that the answer is 165.6. Questions number 2, complete the crossword puzzle. So first we're going to solve for the horizontal part. So A, find the sum of the arithmetic series 38 plus 34 plus 30 till the first 18 terms. So this 38 is the first term, which is the A. And the difference between the two consecutive terms here is, if you use 34 minus 38, you'll get negative 4. So you're going to minus 4 from the previous terms. So this negative 4 is the common difference, which is the D. And this 18 is the N, the number of terms. So we want to find the first 18 term, the sum. So S18. So for this one, I'm going to use this formula as I have all the information. So the n will be 18 over 2 bracket 2 times 38 plus 18 minus 1 times negative 4. Solve this, you will find that the answer is equal to 72. So for the A here in horizontal, so here you have 72. Questions B. Find the sum of the first 100 terms of an arithmetic progression such that. Questions B. Find the sum of the first 100 terms of an arithmetic progression such that the first term is negative 10 and the common difference is 6. So this is the straightforward questions. So the A is the negative 10 and the D is 6 and the number of terms will be the 100. Again, using this formula, so I want to find the sum of 100. So it's going to be 100 over 2 times 2 times negative 10 plus 100 minus 1 times 6. Solve this using a calculator, you find that the answer is 28,700. So for the B horizontal is going to be 28,700. Question C. Find the first term of the arithmetic progression in which the sum of the first 42 terms is 5,838 and the last term is negative 22. So we want to find the first term, which is the A, and this information here as 42, the sum of the first 42 terms, it will give you the answer of 5838. Another information is the last term, which is negative 22. This one will be the L. So for these questions, I'm going to solve this using this formula as I have the informations of the N and L. The N will be the 42. So 42 divided by 2. So here the A, just the A. So plus the last term, which is the negative 22. So 42 divided by 2, you will get 21. So in the bracket, you will have A minus 22. So next, I'm going to move this 21 to the right hand side. It will be 5,838 divided by 21, which is equal to 278. So A equal to 278 plus 22, which will give you the answer of 300. So for C horizontal, the answer is 300. Vertical question C. Calculate S140 of an arithmetic progression that has 140 terms. This one is the N, in which the first term and the last term are 2 and 449 respectively. So the 2 here is the A, and this 449 is the L. So as I have the information of NAL, so I got to use this formula to find the sum of the 140 terms. So it will be 140 divided by 2, bracket 2 plus 449. Solve this, you get the answer of 31,570. So for vertical S, so it will be 31570. Vertical D. Calculate the value of n of an arithmetic progression as such that the first term is negative 15, the common difference is negative 3, and the sum of the first n terms is negative 1023. So this negative 15 is the A, this negative 3 is the D, and from these informations, we know that Sn equal to negative 1023. So as we have the informations of A and D here, so I got to solve the n's by using this formula. So n over 2 bracket 2 times negative 15 plus n minus 1 times negative 3. This is equal to negative 1023. So next, I'm going to move this 2 to the right hand side. It will become times 2. So on the left hand side now, we just left with n. So 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. So for this part, we're going to expand this. So n times negative 3 is negative 3n. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. So for the right hand side, negative 1023, you multiply it by 2, you will get negative 2046. Next, this negative 30 plus 3. Solve this, you will get the answer of negative 27. Multiply it with the n in front of the bracket, you will get negative 27n. And this n multiply with this negative 3n, you will get negative 3n squared. Now, here the highest power of the n is 2. So this one is actually a quadratic equations. So to solve for the quadratic equations, first we're going to write these quadratic equations in general form. So I'm going to move everything to the left hand side. And I'm going to rearrange this. So negative 3n squared minus 27n. So here will be plus 2046 equal to 0. So this negative 3, negative 27, and 2046, I can simplify it by dividing every terms with negative 3. So here I will have positive n squared plus 9n minus 682 equal to 0. So next, we're going to solve this by using the factorization method, as this one can be factorized. So here you find that is n, first bracket n minus 22. The second bracket is n plus 31. So n is equal to 22 or n equal to negative 31. So the n is the number of terms of an arithmetic progressions. The n has to be a positive one. Therefore, we're going to reject the answer of n equal to negative 31. So for vertical D, so here the answer is 22 is the same as what we are having here. Vertical E, calculate the sum of 200 terms after the first 50 terms of an arithmetic progression in which the sum of the first n term is Sn equal to n over 2 bracket n plus 1. So the meaning after the first 50 terms, after 50 term is mean start from the 51 terms. So we want to sum it up for 200 terms. So it means you're going to sum it up plus the 52 terms until 200 terms later on, which means until 250 terms. So from T21 to T50, sum it up. Here we will have the sum of 200 terms. Now, to calculate this, we are going to use S250, the sum of the first 250 terms, minus the sum of the first 50 terms. Why? So S250 means you start sum it up from the first terms until the T250. And as for S50, it means you sum it start from the T1 until the T50. When you use S250 minus S50, what happens is that this part here will be eliminated. So what is left is the sum from the 51 term to 250 terms. Now, to find this, S250 minus S50, we are going to use this formula. So S250 will be, so 250 over 2, bracket, the n 250 plus 1. Then I got to minus it with S50. So it will be 50 over 2, bracket, 50 plus 1. So solve this, you get the first one is 31,375 minus 1,275. Okay, solve this, you get the answer is 30,100. So vertical E. So this part here is 30100. Questions number 3. The diagram on the right shows the patterns drawn on a Chartesian plane. The final line on the plane is parallel to the y-axis and passes through x equal to -10. Find the sum of the length of the overall pattern. So based on the diagram that we have here, this pattern is start from here. So these horizontal lines is start from x equal to 0 until 1.5. Therefore, the length will equal to 1.5 units, followed by this vertical line. So the length will be from 1 to -1, which is equal to 2 units, followed by this horizontal line. So the length is from -1 until 1.5. So the length will be 2.5 units. So these patterns here will create an arithmetic progressions with the first terms of 1.5, followed by 2, 2.5, and so on. So this 1.5 will be the A. And for these arithmetic progressions, you are adding 0.5 to the previous terms. Therefore, this 0.5 is the D. So to find the sum of the length of the overall patterns, you need to know from the first terms until the last term, there are how many terms between them, which is you need to find the n for these arithmetic progressions. So the other information that you have here is the final lines on the plane is parallel to the y-axis, which means this is a vertical lines that pass through the x equal to -10. So it will be something look like this. If we are able to find what is the length of the final lines, then we are able to find the n, which is the number of terms. So now let us focus on the vertical lines before the y-axis. So start from the vertical line that pass through the x equal to -1, x equal to -2, and so on. So the vertical lines here is going to create their own arithmetic progressions as well. So for the length of the vertical line pass through the x equal to -1, the length will be from 2 to -1, which is equal to 3, followed by the vertical line that pass through the x equal to -2. So the length from 3 to -2, the length will be 5 units. If we continue from here, the length for the third one here will be from 4 to -3, the length will be 7 units. So the vertical lines before the y-axis, they will create their own arithmetic progressions with the first terms of 3, followed by 5, followed by 7, and so on until the last one, which is the final line that pass through the x equal to -10. So from these patterns, the length with 3 units, this one is the vertical line that pass through the x equal to -1. The 5 is x equal to -2. So when the vertical line that passes through the x equal to -10. So from here to here, totally you're going to have 10 terms. So the final line is the T10 for these arithmetic progressions. Now to find the length of the final term, so I'm going to use T10 using the formula a plus n minus 1d. So the a will be 3 plus 10 minus 1. The d here will be, you are adding 2 to the previous terms. So the d will equal to 2. Solve this, you'll find that is equal to 21. Therefore, the final line here, the length is equal to 21. Now, let us come back to these overall patterns arithmetic progressions. So now we know that the final length is equal to 21. To find the arithmetic progressions, now we need to find from 1.5 until 21, there are how many terms before them. So we need to find the n terms. So this 21, which is the final one, we want to know this one is which terms for this arithmetic progression. So let us put n terms for this 21. So now let us focus on these arithmetic progressions. So from here we know that Tn is equal to 21. So using the formula a plus n minus 1d, now the a here is the 1.5 plus n minus d, the d will be 0.5. It will be equal to 21. So first I'm going to move this 1.5 to the right hand side. So it will be 21 minus 1.5, which is 19.5. Then move the 0.5 to the right hand side. 19.5 divided by 0.5 is equal to 39. Therefore, n is equal to 39 plus 1, which is 40. Therefore, from here we know that this 21 is the 40th terms for these arithmetic progressions. Now, to find the sum of the length of the overall patterns, this 21 is also the last terms, and we have total of 40 terms in between them. So to find the sum of the length of the overall patterns, I can use the formula Sn equal to n over 2 a plus l. So this will be S40. So 40 over 2, the a will be 1.5 and the l will be 21. Solve this and you're going to find that the total, which is the sum, is equal to 450. Questions number 4. The diagram on the right shows a fence that is made of wood. The fence is painted with alternate blue and gray as shown in the diagram. The number of wood pieces painted with the same color increases with the red as shown in the diagram. If there are only 200 wood pieces, A. Calculate the number of wood pieces that can be painted with the same color. Hence, find the number of remaining wood pieces, if any. So if you look at the diagram here, the first one here is painted with the blue color. You only have one wood. The gray one here, you are going to have 3 woods. Followed by the blue one again, you're going to have 5 pieces of wood. And the gray one, 7. So based on this fence that is painted with the alternate blue and gray color will form an arithmetic progression with the A of 1 and the D, which is the common difference, is that you are adding 2 pieces of wood to the previous one. So plus 2. So this number 2 will be the common difference. Another information that we have is that there are only 200 wood pieces, which means the total number of blue and gray wood pieces that form this fence, the maximum number can only be 200. So the total number of wood cannot exceed 200. So for maximum, we're going to use the inequality sign, which is less than or equal to. To calculate the number of wood pieces, we need to use the formula Sn. But before that, we need to know there are how many terms for this alternate blue and gray wood pieces that form the fence. But we know that the total number of these pieces of wood cannot exceed 200. Therefore, for this question A, the total number of wood cannot exceed 200. So Sn is less than or equal to 200. So first let us find the n, which is the number of terms. So here n over 2 bracket, the a here is going to be number 1, n minus 1 times d, so the d will be number 2. So this is less than 200. So let us solve the things inside the bracket here. So n over 2, so here we have 2. So this one we just expand this, you're going to get 2n minus 2. So 2 minus 2, this one will be cancelled. Therefore, you're going to have n over 2 bracket 2n. So this one we can simplify this. So n square less than or equal to 200. So move the square to the other side, it will be the square root of 200. So the n is less than 14.14. So here we just take the positive value because the number of term has to be a positive one. And remember the n, which is the number of term, is an integer, the whole number, right? So the nearest one less than or equal to 14.14. So here the n is equal to 14. Now we know that there are 14 terms for these patterns. So now to find the total number of woods, so S14 equal to, so 14 over 2 bracket 2a, which is 2 times 1 plus 14 minus 1 times the d, which is the number 2. Solve this using a calculator, you'll find that the S14 is equal to 196. So is there any remaining wood pieces? Yes. So the remaining will equal to 200 minus 196, which is 4. B. State the color of the last wood piece and then calculate the number of the wood pieces used for that particular color. So if you look at the diagram here, the first term T1 is the wood that is painted with the blue one. The T3 is also the blue ones. So we can say that from this pattern, the number of terms with the odd number is going to be the wood painted with blue color. And if you look at the second term, T2, is the wood that is painted with the gray color. T4 is also the wood painted with gray color. So from this pattern, we know that the number of terms with even number is going to be the wood that is painted with gray color. So the color of the last wood piece. So from questions A, we know that there are total 14 terms. So T14 is going to be the last terms. Therefore, the color of the last wood piece, which is the terms with an even number, the color will be the gray one. Then to calculate the number of the wood pieces for this particular color, so we want to find the number of woods for the T14. So against the A is going to be 1 plus n minus 1 is 14 minus 1 times the D, which is 2. Solve this, you'll find that there are total 27 woods for the last terms. Self-practice 5.4, questions number 1. Mr. Tong ordered 1,000 from 4 mathematics textbooks to be sold at his shop. He estimated that 10 books would be sold on the first day, 14 books on the second day, and 18 books on the third day, and the following days with the same increment. A. Calculate the number of days for Mr. Tong to sell all the books. So the number of books that Mr. Tong estimated that he will sell is going to form an arithmetic progression. So 10 books on the first day, 14 books on the second day, 18 books on the third day, and so on. So here the A will equal to 10. And this arithmetic progression is you are adding 4 to the previous terms. So here this number 4 is going to be the D. And the number of days for Mr. Song to sell all the books, this one is actually the N of these arithmetic progressions. So here we want to know how many days is to sell all the books. So the number of books in total that is going to be sold by Mr. Tong is equal to 1,000. Therefore, to find the N, we're going to use the formula as N. So total number of books that is sold by Mr. Tong will be equal to 1,000. So now finds the N using the formula. It's going to be N over 2 bracket 2 times A, which is 10, N minus 1. The D is 4. So first I'm going to solve the things inside the bracket. So N minus 2 equal to bracket 20 plus, so here I'm going to expand this, so I'm going to get 4n minus 4. So 20 minus 4, I can solve this first, so I'm going to get 16 plus 4n. So next, I can expand this. So n over 2 times 16, we can cancel the 16n 2, so you're going to get n plus n over 2 times 4n. The 4 and 2 can be simplified, so you're going to get 2n squared. So now noted here, the variable n have the highest power of 2. So this one, you're going to form a quadratic equations. So to solve for the quadratic equations, first write the quadratic equations in general forms. So I'm going to move everything to the left hand side and rearrange this. So 2n squared plus at n minus 1,000 equal to 0. And this number 2 at n negative 1,000, we can simplify it by dividing every term with number 2. Therefore, we going to get n squared plus 4n minus 500 equal to 0. And for these quadratic equations, we cannot use the factorizations method, as the value of n that you're going to get is not n, it's not a whole number, right? So you can test this by using your calculator. So to solve for the n's here, we're going to use the formula. So to find the n, we're going to use the formula negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac square root over 2a. So here the n will be negative b. The b is going to be number 4. So just negative 4 plus minus 4 squared minus 4a. The a is just 1. The c is negative 500. So we have to square root this over 2a, which is 2 times 1. Alright. Now, solve for the things under the square root. You're going to get the answer is equal to 2016 over 2. So now you have two answers. One is negative 4 plus square root 2016 over 2. Another one is negative 4 minus square root 2016 over 2. So you got to get the answer of 20.45 for the first one, or the other one is negative 24.44. So first, we're going to reject the answer for the n equal to negative 24.44 because the n is representing the number of days. It cannot be negative. So this one, we're going to reject it. So we're going to accept this answer, 20.45. But remember, the question asking you to find the number of days. So it has to be a whole number, integer. So 20.45 is mean you need 20 days plus another 0.45 days. Therefore, the numbers of days to sell all the books will be n equal to 21 days. Questions B. Calculate the increment of the book to sell each day in order for all the books to be sold in 10 days. So now Mr. Tong want to sell all the books in 10 days. So these 10 days will be the new n. So when the number of days has been shortened, then the number of books to be sold each day has to be increased. So now for this questions B, we want to find the new D, which is the new common difference. So it's not going to be 4 anymore. It's going to change. It's going to be increased. But the total number of books that we want to solve is still going to be 1000. So to find the new D, we're still going to use the formula Sn. So here, the Sn, the total is still going to be 1000. Just that here we know the n is equal to 10. So substitute into the formula 10 over 2. So it's still going to be start with 10 books. So the A is still going to be 10 plus 10 minus 1. D is the one that we want to find here. So just leave it be as D. So 10 over 2, you have the answer of 5. So for this bracket here, you're going to get 20 plus, here you're going to get 9D equal to 1000. So you can expand this, or I can move this 5 to the right hand side. So 20 plus 9D equal to 1000 divided by 5, which is 200. So next, I'm going to move this 20 to the right hand side. So 200 minus 20 is 180. So D equal to 180 divided by 9, which is equal to 20. Questions number 2. A wire with length of 240 cm is cut into 15 pieces such that the length of each piece follow the arithmetic progressions. The longest piece of the wire is 30 cm. So A, calculate the length of the shortest wire. So let us assume this arithmetic progressions is in ascending order, which means it starts from the shortest wire and end with the longest piece of wire. Therefore, the shortest wire here will be the A, the first terms. Then the longest piece of the wire, which is this 30 cm, then this one will become the last terms. So when you cut this wire into 15 pieces, these 15 pieces then will become the n, the numbers of terms. So the diagram of this arithmetic progression will look like this. So this one is the shortest wire, which is the A, or the T1. This one is the T2, this one is the T3, until the last, which is the longest piece, the last terms. So this last term is the T15. So we have 15 total pieces here. So the length here will be equal to 30 centimeter. So questions A, we want to find the A, which is the shortest wire. So we know that when we sum up all these 15 pieces, the total length of the wire is equal to 240 centimeters. So we're going to use these informations to solve for the A. So for questions A, we know that the sum of 15 pieces of this wire is equal to 240. Now, I have the informations of the last term, which is 30. So I'm going to use the formula n over 2 bracket A plus L. So the n will be 15 over 2. So bracket A plus L, which is the 30, equal to 240. So 15 over 2 is 7.5. So move this 7.5 to the right hand side. It will be 240 divided by 7.5, which is going to give you the answer of 32. So A equal to 32 minus 30. So the shortest wire, which is A, is equal to 2 centimeter. Questions B. Find the difference between two consecutive wires. So questions B asking you to find the D, the common difference. So we are going to use these informations. The informations of the longest piece of wire, which is T15 is equal to 30 centimeter. So the formula for the Tn is equal to the A, which is equal to 2, plus n minus 1, 15 minus 1 times D equal to 30. So here I'm going to move the number 2 to the right hand side. So 14D here is equal to 28. D equal to 28 divided by 14. So D is equal to 2. So the difference between two consecutive wire is equal to 2 centimeter.